What's up guys, Tech Savvy Buyer here. So this is the InWin A1 Plus Mini ITX case. And as you guys can see, this is one heck of a beautiful case. Let's jump into all the good stuff that this case offers. I'm going to talk about some of the thermals on this and overall what it was like to build in a case like this and why I actually enjoyed it so much. We'll cover all that detail after a quick word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by GVGMall.com. GVG Mall carries a wide variety of game currencies and gift cards that you could use to take your gaming to the next level. If you're looking for a fresh copy of Windows or Microsoft Office, then you can certainly find those on GVGMall.com as well. They are priced very competitively and offer legit copies of Microsoft software. You can pick up a copy of Windows 10 Pro for under 15 bucks. Visit gvgmall.com for more information and use code TSB to save during checkout. So for all of your Windows 10 needs, make sure you check out gvgmall.com. I have links in the description below. It's the only site that I use when I want to activate a new copy of Windows on my computers. Now this, guys, is the InWin A1 Plus case. This is a mini ATX case or mini ITX case, whatever you prefer to call it, that comes equipped with a number of features that actually set it apart and warrant its price tag. One of the biggest pluses of this is that it actually comes with a built-in power supply and actually takes away a big part of the build for you. It's kind of challenging when you want to pick the right power supply for you or the one that meets all of your needs, but I like the fact that InWin actually went ahead and included a custom one only because it was designed with the form factor of this in mind, meaning the wires, the way that they're laid out, make it so it's easier to build. Now on the flip side, you won't be able to take the power supply in this out and put your own one in with ease, at least. It's not to say that it cannot be done. You can do it with heavy modification into it, but you're going to run into errors where the cables are just not working the way that they should be or they're not being routed correctly. So for that, I would just say stick with what's inside here. In addition to the power supply, you can already see up front that this case comes with 2 fans included, an improvement over the previous A1 series where they shipped them without the fans. And the fans that they actually included in this are pretty decent quality, guys. These are the Serious Loop AF120s or the addressable RGB versions. So they have lights that are fully customizable. As you can see, you can change it to a static color or you can change it to being multicolor like you see here. That's another feature of this case, all the RGB-ness of it. So you can see the bottom panel has a nice RGB strip that can do a rainbow type color like you see here, or you can have it cycle through a bunch of different colors or keep it static or even keep it in a breathing mode. I left it this way just because I wanted to have a contrast between the white color of the case and all the different colors that are going on. I actually think it looks really nice. Now, all of that stuff is included, and there's still one more. They still have a Qi charger on top. So if you have, let's say, a Samsung device that's capable of being wirelessly charged, you can just prop it right up there, and it starts charging not just regular wireless charging, but it also does fast wireless charging. Definitely a good feature if you're going to be using this in an area where it's going to be on a tabletop. Now, let's speak about the form factor of this. Look how small this is in comparison to everything else around you, basically. My phone is basically this big, and when you fit it across, it's basically covering one side to the end with just a little bit of the edge left over. So this doesn't have a huge footprint. And that's good for people that want to have a build that's going to be in an area that you maybe are not having a lot of space available at your disposal, or you just want to have a very minimalistic build. So this has definitely received an approval from my wife if I want to use this in other areas just because it doesn't take up a lot of space, and she thinks it's cute because it's small, and I don't disagree. I actually was really pleased with this case, and of all the case reviews I've done, this was one of the most fun ones to actually build in because it posed a challenge. So aside from all the stuff that you get in it, up front I'll tell you that the price that InWin is asking for this is $199. Now last year when they had the original A1, they were selling that for 170 bucks. And I think a couple of other reviewers were not too pleased with the price point, and I think InWin made the right improvements to this to command that price point. If anyone knows anything about cases from InWin, they're never cheap cases. If you want a budget case, this is not the case you're going to be going for. And you can tell that when you get this and basically when you unbox this. Overall, the build quality of this thing is super solid. There's no cheap materials being used in this. This is very premiumly made, and it's got a lot of features included in it out of the box that you wouldn't find in, let's say, a mid-range case unless you dished out a lot more cash for it. So definitely realize that the money that you're putting in this is going for the form factor, the premium build quality materials that are being used, the power supply that comes included, the 2 fans that come included, multiple RGB lights that come included with a controller, and the Qi charger on top that you can use with your devices. So all in all, I think it's solid value for the price point, and I definitely think InWin has priced it good with the improvements that they have made. Now, with that being out of the way, the most fun part of this case was building inside it. And building inside it was fun and a bit challenging because most of the build you actually have to do outside of the case. Now, I know a lot of people would be like, well, you're supposed to put memory and you're supposed to put the CPU and all that stuff on the motherboard before you install it. But you know, to me, it's tomato. Everyone has their own preference on how they build, and there are a few things that you should and should not do when building a computer, but I think there's a lot of custom variation in how one chooses to do their build. As long as you're not doing anything dangerous, for the most part, you can wing it and get things done safely and accordingly that work. Now with this guy, it was a different experience altogether. I saw other people's reviews where they had trouble doing cable management. As you guys can see here, I got super nice clean cable management done in this tiny form factor, and I only had to use 4 zip ties. I didn't have to go crazy with zip ties. They gave just the right amount of space and cable length to get everything where it needs to be, because again, this is a mini case and it goes with a mini motherboard, so you don't need long cables to run on all different sides of the motherboard to reach different ports that you're looking for. Chances are you're not even going to have a ton of ports on a mini ATX board. Like the one that I'm using inside this is a Gigabyte Aorus B450 Pro Wi-Fi board that only has 2 fan headers, one which is dedicated to the CPU and the other that is basically using all these fans daisy chained. That's what kind of kept it really neat, as you guys saw in my cable management. Now, as I mentioned, most of the build has to be done outside, and a few pointers I'd give you guys if you're going to be building in this is how I did it. So I installed the CPU on there first. I put the memory sticks on there as well. I got the fan pre-installed on it as well. I took out the pre-installed fan inside the case so I had more room to actually put the motherboard into space and line it up with the I/O shield. And before I even did all of that, I also plugged in the power cable to the CPU from the power supply, as well as the main motherboard power supply cable as well. And that is because once you get stuff in there, when you're going to be fidgeting around, it's so small, and with a person with big hands like mine, it was almost impossible to build inside this case. I had to build outside the case and put it inside. But once I got that motherboard in, once I got the processor and all the stuff inside with it laid up correctly, the only last thing that I had to install at the end was the GPU, which was super simple and super easy. Now for a case like this, you would expect, being small, kind of congested, and not having a lot of room to breathe per se, that the temperatures may be super hot. And in all my testing, guys, this did not exceed 55 degrees centigrade in extreme load at all. And I ran it through Blender, I ran it through Premiere, I did some rendering on it, and the CPU that's being used on this, while it's not the most powerful, it's the Ryzen 1700X, it still did a really good job at everything that I was throwing at it. So I'm really pleased with what InWin has done here. This is a fantastic case for those people that are looking for a minimalistic build, that don't want to spend huge amounts of money on making a huge build that take a lot of components with it, and you want to get something that overall looks very attractive. This case has it all, and the fact that it comes pre-included with 2 RGB fans that are addressable, a power supply that's rated up to 650 watts with 80 plus gold, so not a super cheap quality one either, and it comes with the Qi charger on top, this thing is more than worth the money that they're asking for, and it was definitely a pleasure to build in. After I got done with this build and I was able to see how this overall looked, I'm just a huge fan of this case, and I can wholeheartedly tell you guys that if you want to do a mini ATX build, definitely keep this case in mind if you're looking to go in a route that has this. Now, InWin does manufacture this case in another color, so you can also pick it up in black if you don't like the white color. In addition to that, one other thing that I really liked was the ease of access of stuff on this. The 2 covers on each side is kind of similar to the trend that InWin has been using in some of their other cases. If you remember, I did a build also in a white InWin case that was the 103, and it was very similar with the way they have their panel on this side. Now in this video, you guys can see I don't really have the panel on because it's tinted and it blocks all the stuff that I want you guys to see. But when you put that tinted panel on and all you see is just the little RGB lights flashing out of it, it looks really attractive and it doesn't disturb the environment in which you place it in. Overall, thermals on this case was good, the sound dampening of the case is excellent, and every little detail that InWin has paid attention to in this case really makes this a premium case, down to the little 3M stickers that they give you to place on the bottom of this so that it doesn't scuff up the table that you're going to place this on. So this is a solid buy. So guys, I really enjoyed building this, and I would strongly recommend that if you're going for a mini PC build to actually consider this. But hey, if you guys like this content, smash that like button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're here. I'm always putting out different content related to PC building, gaming, console stuff, all kinds of tech stuff. So do keep in touch if you guys want to get up to date with some of my latest videos. But other than that, guys, it was a pleasure to build this. Huge shout out to InWin for sending this over for review purposes. And overall, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to address them. And until then, I'll see you in my next one. Peace out.